thing, so got about an hour and 10 minutes. I gotta go back out. So let's open up another box. Now, I did have to do a return on my Lord of the Rings precons because they sent me the wrong thing. And then when I get that money back, I'm gonna buy the Lord of the Rings decks again. Uh, I don't have. I might put it off for a little while. I don't know. But I did go to the Walmart seeing if they had some, and I found some like different commander decks. Ended up picking up 3 different ones. Two of them apparently are very strong precons. But the third one, I mean, I don't really have any interest in two of the decks, but there's some cards in there that I've never seen before that I need for my Marchesa deck probably. Um, but I picked up a third precon deck, and the kids that go to our local um Magic the Gathering thing, they're like really good, proper kids. The guy's a good father. But he isn't making a lot of money right now, and his kids have like one commander deck apiece, but they don't have anything that's super crazy. So I figured I might challenge them to a duel, and then when they beat me, I'll give them that deck. And one of them said that they would give it to their mom. Well, they said they would either jack some cards out of it or they would give it to their mom. But she doesn't have a deck, apparently. Alright, so these two land packages I'm going to keep in here for now. I don't think we need to open those yet. And we're going to keep going on with these standard packs. We got another Treefo cart. Got a Mordor Swamp. Grimoire Guardian. It's a dwarf. Green. Interesting. Enraged Horn. It's another one of those Ents. This is basically the same pack that we had in the other one. Sam's Rescue, now for Wrath, now for Ruin. Arwen Ondriel, which this is a different Arwen, so whenever you scry, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, and then you can pay 6 to scry 2. Uh, green, blue. I could see that being a commander if you want to do a scry commander. Paying 6 mana to scry 2 every turn is kind of iffy, but you do get to put a 1/1 counter on a creature, though. So you're scrying 2 plus getting 2 1/1 counters. And she's also a 2-drop, so I mean, turn 2, you could get her down pretty consistently. I think that she would be my commander for the elf deck for sure. So we got Selborn the Wise. When you attack with one or more elves, scry 1. Whenever you scry, Selborn the Wise gets 1/1 till end of turn for each card looked at while scrying this way. It's alright. This one's mono green though, so like you would be a good elf commander potentially. Um, I'm assuming it only triggers once, but if it triggers multiple times in a turn, that'd be really good. Mirror of Galadriel. This is another card we haven't gotten yet. That's pretty good. So 2-drop artifact, legendary artifact. Pay 5, tap, scry 1, then draw a card. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. So that's pretty cool. Um, could be good in the Fellowship deck, but it's a scry and a draw thing, so I don't know. We got Legolas counter of kills. Whenever you scry, if Legolas counter of kills is tapped, you may untap it. Do this only once each turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter. So it's a good Legolas card. Got Gandalf, Friend of the Shire. We got Storm of Saruman. We got Ring Foil, Elrond, Lord of Rivendell. Interesting. Now we get an Orc Army token. Hey, I need one of these. I don't know what happened to my token stack. I had a massive token stack before I went to play cards last week, and it just disappeared, you know. So we got a Gandalf art. We get a foil swamp. Cool. I like it. We got a Limbus bread. Generous Int again. Mushroom Watchdogs again. Snarling Warg again. Tale of Tribunal again. Gift of the Strands. Scry 2, enchanted creature gets 3/3. Has flash. It's alright. Gandalf, Friend of the Shire with a different artwork. Lord of Rivendell. Different artwork. Full art Greyhavens. You know, add 1 mana of any color among legendary creature cards in your graveyard. Interesting. Forgorn Tree Shepherd. Shadow Summoning. See, this is white black. Tap 2 untapped 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with, or create 2 tapped 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. Who shall the horn be? Who shall call them? From the great twilight, the forgotten people, the heir to him of whom the oath they swore. So I mean, it's not terrible. But there's not a white black commander that really suits this to me because like it's foil, it's shiny, I like the artwork. You have the king of the undead people that you could use, and then you have the steward. But if you use the steward, I mean there's not anything super crazy that I mean he's like if something dies, it comes back. Like you make a 1/1 soldier, which is okay, but like it wouldn't make any sense to have a deck with the ghost people without Aragorn, you know? And but Aragorn doesn't have black in his colors, anyone that I've seen so far anyway. But like Frodo does, unless there's like a mono white Aragorn somewhere. I don't know. Some of these cards just don't make any sense because like there's the card that's like Samwise saving Frodo, and it's a mono. It's just a black card that brings a creature from the graveyard. And it doesn't make any sense to me because if you're playing an evil deck, Samwise isn't going to be resurrecting your evil creatures, you know? If you're playing a good deck, there's only like 2 or 3 things. You'd have to play like a Frodo and Sam partner deck, potentially. Got a Mountain Art, got a Rohan's Plains, a Willow-Wind Elemental. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. The branches of the willow began to sway violently. Frodo called for help, but he could hardly hear his own voice. It was blown away from him by a willow wind and drowned in a clamor of leaves. Interesting. I need to start reading some actual books again so I can remember how to write books so I can write my own books. Greyhaven's Navigator. Enters the battlefield, scry 1. So, I mean, there's a number of elves that scry, which I guess is that far side ability that they have in the movies. It was an old tradition that beyond the Shire stood the Greyhavens, from which at times elven ships set sail, never to return. Interesting. Nimrodil Watcher. Whenever you scry, it gets 1/0 until end of turn, and can't be blocked this turn. Would this be a good deck for Sensei's Divining Top? You know? Seems like it would be. Um, I don't know if it says scry though. I think it says like look at the top 3 cards or something. So you got Urkai of the White Hand, Gorbag of Minas Morth, which is another card that's interesting. Sauron's Trickery, 3 blue, counter target spell, amass orcs 1. So this is something that we don't have yet. So that's cool. I like that. Many Partings, full art. Balrog of Durin's Bane. Destroy target artifact or creature and opponent controls. Huh. Costs 1 less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this turn. Has haste. Can't be blocked except by legendary creatures. And the Balrog dies, destroy target artifact or creature and opponent controls. I think this would actually be a pretty interesting commander. It looks like the one that we have in our deck, but it's not. But you'd need a sacrifice deck, so you need tokens or something. And then, like, as him as a commander, he costs 7, but you could sack 5 things and cost this for 2. And then you could sack 7 things and cast it for 2. And keep doing the same thing. And then it can't be blocked except by legendary creatures, but it's already a 7/5. So most people, it's probably going to be their commander or something. It's going to be the first thing that can fight this thing. And if it runs it over, it runs it over. And then when it dies, you destroy an artifact or a creature opponent controls anyway. So, I mean, and this thing's 7 power, just 3 hits and someone dies. That's pretty good, I would say. Also, that's a full art. Shadow of the Enemy, full art. Mary Esquire of Rohan. And we got a Mirror of Galadriel foil. So now we got 2 of those, which I'm not complaining about at the moment. And we get a soldier token. We get looks like a elf harem. Maybe it's Galadriel. I don't really know. Definitely looks like an elf harem though. Basic forest, Gimli's axe. If it's legendary, it gets menace and it gets 3/0. Gimli's fury. Okay. Erimbor flamesmith. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Erimbor flamesmith deals 1 damage to each opponent. Dwarf artificer. We make good armor and king swords, but we cannot again make mail or blade to match those of our fathers made before the dragon came. Interesting. Instant does 1 damage to each opponent when you cast an instant or sorcery. Ooh, we got another dwarf. Bag End Porter. Bag End Porter attacks, it gets XX until end of turn, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. Interesting. Stone of Eerie. The Bath Song. Draw 2 cards and discard a card. Shuffle any number of target cards from your graveyard into your library. The Bath Song. I don't know what this is. I'm assuming it's like a Fellowship or an Elf card, maybe. Now we get normal Grave Havens. I'm seeing a very like similar pattern for these gift bundle packs. Because this is like the fourth Grey Havens that we've gotten. One mana of any color among the legendary creature cards in your graveyard. Glorfindel Dauntless Rescuer. He's in pure gold armor. Black Elf. When you scry, choose one, and Glorfindel Dauntless Rescuer gets 1/1 until end of turn. Glorfindel must be blocked this turn if able. Glorfindel can't be blocked by more than one creature each combat this turn. On the Elf Lord's brow sat wisdom, and in his hand was strength. Interesting. Elf Noble. Faramir Field Commander, so that's another one there. We got a Sauron the Necromancer normal, so that's good. It's the second one of those that we've gotten. Smoothing of Smeagol and foil. Return non-token creature to its owner's hand during Timshu. Frodo's heart sank. This was too much like trickery, and certainly what he did would seem treachery to poor, treacherous creature. It's alright. Good for a Fellowship deck. I think that's the main problem, is that a Fellowship deck is going to be a bit too difficult to like whittle the cards down. And it would seem like you would want Hobbits, Ents, Rohan, and the Fellowship cards together in one. But I think that might be a bit too much. So we got a Samwise carrying Frodo card art. We got a Forest, Hobbit Stinger, Pippin's Bravery, Mini Partons, Second Breakfast, Borrow Blade, Frodo Baggins, Gollum Patient Plonter, Samwise Stoutheart, Nasty End Full Art, Delighted Halfling, Shire Terrace Foil. I like that more than I like some of the search cards for lands, because it comes in, you can get mana, and then when you have a free turn, you just get a land out of your deck, which is nice. But yeah, these packs are much more similar than the collector booster pack was. I'm telling you that right now. Like, there's a lot of similarity between these. This one doesn't have a token in it. That's weird. Alright. So we got another Nazgul art. I might use those for Wraith tokens because they look cool. We get a foil Forest. Loreen Reveal. Draw 3 cards with Island Scything. So this is some sort of elf card. Look at us now with friendly eyes. Behold the trees of the Nath of Lothlorien and be glad. Okay. Got a Wizard Rockets normal card. Ents Fury. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control if its power is 4 or greater. Then that creature gets 1/1 until end of turn and fights target creature you don't control. See, Great Hall of the Citadel. Like, you get a bunch of the same cards in these. Great Heart of the Citadel I'm not opposed to, though, because, I mean, I need one for my Marchesa deck anyway, and it looks pretty cool, and it has mana fixing, and it's a land. But it seems like they want you to build like a int deck separately, but I don't know if there's enough ints to make an int deck. And if you mix ints with hobbits, they seem like they're supposed to go together, but in the movie, there was only like 2 hobbits that found and fought with the ints, you know? And then if you do a fellowship deck and you're trying to do Rohan as well, I mean, it would just be hard to do. So you got Ranger Firebrand, deals 2 damage to any target the ring tempts you. You got Gollum Bite, 1 black. Target creature gets -2/-2 end of turn. Pay 4, exile Golem Bite from graveyard. The ring tempts you activate only as a sorcery. Okay. Gandalf's Sanction deals X damage to target creature where X is the number of instant sorcery cards in your graveyard. Excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. Blue and red. There's a crack and the staff split asunder in Saruman's hand, and the head of it fell down at Gandalf's feet. Okay, so this might be a Saruman card, which I'm fine with. Council's Deliberation. Whenever you scry, if you control an island, you may exile Council Deliberation from your graveyard. If you do, draw a card. If you control an island, you may exile Council's Deliberation from your graveyard. Interesting. Rising of the Day. This is a new card. 3 red enchantment. Creatures you control have haste. Legendary creatures you control get 1/0. Interesting. I mean, in a fellowship deck, this would make sense to me because you'd have a lot of legendary creatures. But in like a Rohan deck or any other deck, I mean, just giving your creatures haste is kind of good, but it's not the best in the world. So I'm a little confused on the card, but it is full art, does look cool. Galadriel of Lothlorien. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Galadriel of Lothlorien as your ring bearer, scry 3. Whenever you scry, you may reveal the top card of your library. If a land card is revealed this way, put it on the battlefield tapped. Interesting. Many Partings. Full art foil. Borrow Witches. This is something I haven't seen yet. Taste the sweetness, breath for breath. Keep the balance, death for death. Borrow Witch Incantation. Enters the battlefield, return target night card from graveyard to your hand. Human Warlock. I don't know if that's a Lord of the Rings card. It doesn't seem like it. And it's Night Tribal, sort of? Well, that's the card that replaced the token, so maybe it's just like a reprint. It's already been like 20 minutes. That's how crazy this is. Ooh. We got signed Soul Ring art. I like it. Regular Forest. Slip on the Ring. Birthday Escape. Erwin's Gift. If you control 2 or more legendary creatures, it costs 1. This is pretty good. Good for the Fellowship deck. Spell costs 1 less to cast for if you control 2 or more legendary creatures. Scry 2, then draw 2 cards. Pretty nice. Tap target creature, scry 1, draw a card. Illithium Knots. Try to run away. Yeah, so that would be another like Fellowship or deck. You got a Fell Beast, Shadow Summoning Regular, Theoden, King of Rohan. When he or another human enters the battlefield under control, target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Not a super amazing card, to be honest. I mean, not super strong. And double strike doesn't really seem like it fits him in the movies or anything, so I don't really know. But I guess like he's a 3-drop, so if you get him out early, one of your creatures is going to get double strike, and then as long as you're summoning a human every turn, you get double strike. It's just, it's not the best, but whatever. Mouth of Sauron. Target player mills 3 cards and amass Orcs X, where X is the number of instant sorcery cards in that player's grave. So I think you're supposed to do the Mouth of Sauron for like a Sauron or Sauron deck. Mill yourself instead of your opponents. You drop all your sorceries into the deal, but you get a big dose of orcs. Knights of Dol Amroth, full art. I dig it. Call of the Ring. Beginning of your upkeep, the ring tempts you. Whenever you choose a creature as your ring bearer, you may pay 2 life. Draw a card. Strider, Ranger of the North. So this is okay, so this is Aragorn, a card I haven't seen yet. So red green. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets 1/1 until end of turn. Then if that creature has 4 or greater, it gains first strike till end of turn. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under control, target creature gets 1/1 until end of turn. Then if that creature has 4 power or greater, it gains first strike. So the greatest traveler and huntsman of the age of this age of the world. I like the card. I could see him being a commander, like you could because he has the colors that you could put at least one of the Legolas cards in here with him. You could put him in an Aragorn deck, but I mean the landfall. I don't know if there's enough landfall cards to matter. If you could get multiple lands out per turn, it could be good. Because he's basically a 4. Like, he's going to be a 4/4, potentially a 4/5 or a 5/5 with first strike. Not terrible, but not crazy. I want this guy, the Aragorn the Uniter. But it seems like maybe if you do an Aragorn deck or you do a Fellowship deck, maybe you want Strider and you want the one that's the Pathfinder and you want that one. I mean, I could see having 3 Aragorns potentially because he does die like once in the movie and comes back. But at the first in the movie, he's Strider, and then you have the other Aragorn show up. But as much as you would like to play all the cards in order, it's very unlikely that you're going to get to do so. But with the Uniter, because it would bother me a little bit if you had 2 Aragorns on the field. But also with the Uniter, it seems like you want to play multicolored cards to get the benefit of all of his stuff. Because he gets to scry and he gets to make a creature token and stuff. So all that's pretty good. So we get Bilbo's birthday celebration art. We get Island. Fire of Orthanc. Destroy target artifact or land. Creatures without flying can't block this turn. The barricade was scattered as if by a thunderbolt. Okay, so that's Isengard's attack on Helm's Deep. Yeah, so that would go in the Sauron or Saruman deck. Cast in the fire. Choose one. Cast the fire deals 1 damage to each of up to 2 creatures. Exile target artifact. Okay, so that'd be like a fellowship card. Smite the Deathless. Battle Scarred Goblin. Comes blocked, it deals 1 damage to each creature blocking it. So, I mean, if you had Death Touch, be pretty good. Troll of Khazad-dûm. Peregrine Took. Matlock Brandybuck. Bilbo Retired Burglar. Lash of the Balrog full art. I like the one with Gandalf more, to be honest. Glamdring. Equipped creature has first strike and gets 1/0 for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the damage without paying its mana cost. So, Pretty cool. I don't know if I would stick these in the Fellowship deck or not, or just put this in like a Gandalf deck necessarily. Because like there is that Gandalf card that we can play that I think would fit in a Fellowship deck, but also like it doesn't fit the theme. It's kind of weird because Aragon the Uniter seems like it's like at the end when he took over Gondor and they're going towards Mordor. Whereas like the Gandalf Westward Traveler is like the end of everything, you know? We get a Woe's Pathfinder and foil. And then we get a Scorched Earth, destroy and discard X land cards. Choose and discard X land cards, destroy X target lands. Okay. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Okay. Now we'll do the next collector pack. Foil Orc token. Alright, so we get foil Rush the Room, foil Birthday Escape, Banish from Edoras, foil Black Breath, foil Ranger's Firebrand. Keep close to the fire with your faces outward. Get some of the longer sticks. Ready it in your hands, Strider. So that's a Fellowship type card. We got Golem's Bite, foil. We got a Mountain, foil. We get a Press the Enemy, foil. Turn target spell or non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. Turn target spell or non-land permanent. Interesting. Fall of Kar Andros. I don't know what this is. Whenever a creature an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, amass Orcs X, where X is that excess damage. Pay 8. Fall of Kar Andros deals 7 damage to target creature. Full or extended art Fall of Kar Andros. I just don't know. I don't know what this city is, but okay, so it's an enchantment for 3 mana, and then whenever a creature an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, you mass Orcs X, where X is the excess damage. So Thunderbolts and everything else are going to turn into amass Orc spells, which is interesting. Um, and then this for 8 mana is just a repeatable 7 damage to target creature, and you amass Orc 7, which pretty good. Pretty good. I can't complain about that. Legless Greenleaf. Legless Greenleaf can't be blocked by creatures with 2 or less. Whenever another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Legless Greenleaf. Whenever Legless Greenleaf deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Interesting. Medric Brandybuck. We got Bag's End, full art. Pay 1 life, add green or white mana. Sacrifice Bag Ends, draw a card. Okay. We get another full art Nasty End. We get a ring foil Golem Patient Plotter. We've gotten a lot of these in these packs. Use the battlefield during Tempshu. Sacrifice a creature, return Golem. I mean, he's basically going to be used for fast ring Tempshu effects, it seems. Flame of Andor. 3 mana. So 1 blue-red. Choose one. If you control a wizard as you cast a spell, you may choose 2 instead. Target player draws 2 cards. Destroy target artifact. Flame of Andor deals 5 damage to target creature. Target player draws 2 cards, destroy target artifact, deals 5 damage to target creature. I mean, full art looks really cool. I don't have this card yet, so it seems pretty good. And I think it's Gandalf's effect. So you put that in a Gandalf deck maybe, or... I mean, choosing one I think is fine enough. But if you happen to have a wizard, choosing 2 would just be better, you know? Okay. That is box 2. Get all this done before we come under new management, because they're taking over Sunday. We're gonna keep all of the lands inside the box, as per usual. I don't even know what name's on the title right now, so whatever it is, I apologize, but I don't have the ability to change it here at the moment, probably. Okay, so we got a Faramir, or Steward of Gondor card. I like it. Basic Mountain, Enrage for Gorn, Sam's Desperate Rescue, Now for Wrath, Now for Ruin. See a very common theme with these. Breaking the Fellowship, Glorious Gale, The Bath Song, Grey Havens, Glorfindel Dauntless Rescuer, Pippin's Bravery Full Art, Sauron of Many Colors Regular. I think this is a different card than I have, though. Ward, discard an enchantment, instant, or sorcery card. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, each opponent mills 2 cards. Then when one or more cards are milled this way, exile target enchantment, instant, or sorcery card with equal or lesser mana value than that spell from an opponent's graveyard. Copy the exiled target. You may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. 6-drop. I'm pretty sure that's different than the one that we have. But it seems like they almost want you to put like Sauron and like Gandalf in the same deck almost, if you could. Whenever Gollum Patient Plotter, yeah, so we got another foil Gollum Patient Plotter. Got a food token. So the gift bundles are not really that great with these booster packs, I don't think. We got Aragorn's Blade going on there. Alright, so now we got a Map Forest, Eastmark Cavalier, Westfold Rider, Esquire of the King. Pay 5, tap. Creatures you control get 1/1 until end of turn. Ability costs 2 less to activate if you control a legendary creature. So for 3 mana, you can give your stuff 1/1. Man, I mean, it's 1 mana, 1/1, human soldier, so it's not terrible. Dúnedain Blade, Glorfindel, Erwin Amundale, Celeborn the Wise, Prince Imlir of the Fair, also has the cool artwork. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Still don't know who this dude is. He has really cool artwork, though. I like it. Sauron, Lord of the Rings. So we got one of the commanders. Sauron's Ransom. Choose an opponent. They look at the top 4 cards of your library and separate them into a face-down pile and a face-up pile. Put one pile in your hand and the other into your graveyard. He was dear to you, I see, and now he shall endure the slow torment of years. So, yeah, that's a Sauron card. Greyhaven's Navigator foil, and we get the Ring card. Ring Tempshu. We got Hobbitses. Regular Forest, Generous Ent, Mushroom Watchdogs, Snarling Warg, Golem's Bite, Gandalf's Sanction. I'm not sure exactly what this means because it says there was a crack and the staff split asunder in Saruman's hand and the head of it fell down at Gandalf's feet. I think this is supposed to be a Gandalf spell, but it kind of looks like you could use this for either. Deals X damage to target creature where X is the number of instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard. I mean, we got 2 of them, so we got stuff. We got Council's Deliberation, Stone of Eerie, Legolas Counter of Kills, Elrond Master of Healing, Ring Art. Whenever you scry, put a 1/1 counter on. I think the scry deck is supposed to be Aragorn the Uniter because when you cast a blue spell, you scry. So whenever you scry, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. Whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. So, I mean, Elrond Master of Healing, you could play him as his own commander, probably, and you'd be fine. Green and blue. And then just have a bunch of scry cards. But, I mean, he also can go in Fellowship deck, so. Elven Course. Creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. That's alright. Shire Sheriff Full Art Foil. Something I haven't seen yet. Halfling Soldier. And food token. We get a Minas Tirith art. Digging these art cards. It makes me wish I would have bought the scene bundles, but Basic Forest, Elborn Flamesmith, Shires Terrace, Bag In Porter, Mirmir Guardian, Urukai Captain, Book of Mezembul. This is a new one. Amassed Orcs 1. Amassed Orcs 2. Creatures you control get 1/0 and gain menace till end of turn. Book of Mazembul. Interesting. Danathor, Ruling Steward. Yeah, this is the guy that, I mean, you could use him, but I'm not positive on that. Beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Pay 2, sacrifice another creature. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 2 life. It seems like he's supposed to be like just a life deck. Like you make tokens, you sack your token to deal damage, and then you remake your token. So every turn you're just doing free damage to everybody. But it's kind of a dumb ability, you know? And I think like if you lose like 3 creatures, you're still only gonna make like 1 off of this, is what it seems like. Rise of the Witch King. Dueling Celebine, full art. Yrmir, Marshal of Rohan. Legendary creature, human knight with haste. 4 cost, 4/4. Need Brooks, no delay, yet late is better than never. Whenever 1 or more other attacking legendary creatures you control die, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. This ability triggers only once each turn. Whenever 1 or more other attacking legendary creatures you control die. I mean, yeah, I would probably stick him in a Fellowship deck if we're going to put them in there. Hadrum Spear Master. Beginning of combat under your control, target player gets 1/0. Okay. We still need an Aragorn the Uniter. If we're going to make a true Fellowship deck, we need the Aragorn the Uniter. 100% need it. It's the only thing we didn't pull from our collector packs that I need, as far as I can tell. I don't know what all cards come here. Got a Tom Bombadil art. Get a foil Plains. Brandywine Farmer enters or leaves the battlefield, create a food token. Okay. Took Reaper. Nimble Hobbit. Nimble Hobbit's pretty good. Because if you have a bunch of, you can tap all the enemy's creatures basically. See, it looks like they're fighting humans, so like I feel like Mordor or somebody was attacking the hobbits at some point. I need to research some of the lore on Lord of the Rings. East Farthing Farmer, Council Deliberation, Stone of Eriks, the Bath Song, Grey Havens, Oliphant, full art, not shabby. Trample, when it attacks, another target creature control gets 2/0 and gains trample until end of turn with Mountain Cycling. I'm not opposed to it. Gandalf the Grey. Where you cast an instant or sorcery spell, choose one that hasn't been chosen. You may tap or untap target permanent. Gandalf the Grey deals 3 damage to each opponent. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Put Gandalf on top of its owner's library. It seems, I don't know if it means like once per turn you choose what you haven't chosen yet. I mean, it's a legendary creature. But you can also put it on top of your library, which I get it's a form of protection, but do you have to do that to reset his ability is the thing. Because you would copy the target instant or sorcery spell you control, probably. And then you'd probably do damage to somebody. Tap or untap target permanent is kind of, I mean, it's sort of mana rampy, I guess. Chance met elves. 3 and a. Whenever you scry, put a 1/1 counter on chance met elves. This ability triggers only once each turn. It is said, go not to the elves for counsel. They will say both no and yes, Frodo. Put a 1/1 counter on chance met elves. Interesting. Far Traveler. Commander creatures you own have at the beginning of the end step exile up to one target tap creature control and return to the battlefield under its owner's control. Interesting. I know that's a reprint of a card from even. Forgot what commander that goes to. I think it's a commander I tried to build for my mercenary deck. I built. I didn't ever play it, but I bought the cards, or at least a bunch of cards, to make a dumb deck where a guy comes in and when he attacks, you make like tokens equal to equipments or something, and then when he dies, you just attach the equipments to the soldiers and use them probably for combat. You know. We got signed art. Looks like Saruman, potentially. Cool with it. Foil forced map art. Relentless Rohirrim, Rally at Hornburg, Quarrel's End, Banished from Eddorus, Shadow Summoning, King Rohan Theoden, Math of Sauron, Samwise the Stoutheart, Shadow of the Enemy, Sting the Glinting Dagger, Shadowfax Lord of Horses foil, Yawgmoth Agenda. 5 mana. Pay no more than 1 spell each turn. You may play cards in your graveyard as though they were in your hand. If a card would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, remove it from the game instead. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, useful card for something, I'm sure, but like, I don't like my stuff being exiled, but a last ditch effort to win a game, that seems pretty good. I like these resurrections they have in the Lord of the Rings stuff that bring everything back or like swap the field to the graveyard, so it gets Gandalf wizard art. Basic planes. Dunelane Cerebane. This is a different art. I like this art better than the other one, to be honest. Deceive the Messenger. Treason of Isengard. Swarming of Moria. Create a treasure token. Amass Orcs 2. Long List of the Ents. Note a creature type that hasn't been noted for a long list of the Ents. When you cast your next creature spell of that type this turn, creature enters with the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. See, that right there is what Long List of the Ents has 6 turns. Note a creature type that hasn't been noted for Long List of the Ents. When you cast your next creature spell of that type this turn, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter. So, what you have human, dwarf, elf, ent, hobbit, wizard. That That's 6. So I guess that's all you're supposed to use. So that would make you think that you would want the Ints in the Fellowship deck. Entish Restoration. Quick Beam Upstart Int. This is a new one that we haven't seen yet. When Quick Beam Upstart Int or another Tree Folk enters the battlefield under your control, up to 2 target creatures each get 2/2 and getting trampled in turn. Not the best, not the worst. Lordenvale Horizon Witness 5-mana legendary creature Bird Noble. Whenever 2 or more creatures you control attack a player, target attacking creature without flying gains flying until end of turn. Interesting. Lash of Balrog, full art, Fangorn Tree Shepherd. Escape from Orthanc, foil. Target creature gets 1/3 and gains flying until end of turn, untap it. I like it. The other thing is, like, when you have like a pre-con commander deck and you open these packs and you get these foils and you replace cards like in the deck with really powerful foils, I like the fact that like when you're playing, you'll play something and it's shiny and it kind of like lets people know that it's important. So get the ring art. Regular map mountain. Knights of Dol Amarath, different artwork here. I don't like this artwork as much. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a 1/1 counter on Knights of Dol Amarath. Dundane Blade. I wish they had stuff like the Nazgul where you could have 9 in your deck and do that for like Dundane Blade. Yeah, you can have like even if just a basic sword, be like you can have 9 of these basic swords in your deck or something, you know? Improvised Club. Oh, for a couple of pins, says Troll and grins. I shall eat thee too and gnaw thy shins. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Improvised Club deals 4 damage to target. Interesting. Lash of the Balrog with the cool art that I like. I wish I could get this art, like, full art, you know? Horses of Bruden. Return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hands. Scry 1, the ring tempts you. See, the Int Drought Basin, I don't really know about. I mean, it's 2-drop, and then you can pay mana and tap, put a 1/1 counter on target creature with power X, activate only as a sorcery. It's not super great. It's okay. Long list of the Ints. Intish Restoration. Full art, Shire Sheriff. Mary Esquire Pippins. Swarming of Moria. Teferi's Veil. Whenever any creature you control attacks, it phases out at end of combat. I don't play like Teferi much, but he was the first deck that I built with him was Nami Faith Healer and then Teferi Timebender. And then I happened to pull Teferi's Protection out of a pack, and I did really good with that deck. So stuff like this I like. The fact that you can have like cards like this, like you swing in, you deal some damage, and your creatures just disappear, you know? But it's an interesting like Teferi has a bunch of stuff like in his cards. Like I really like this card because it has his name in it. And I want to rebuild that deck at some point because it's cool that like turn 2 or turn 3 or whatever you can summon Nami Faith Healer and then you just instantly get to search out a Planeswalker that has like pretty good effects where you can draw cards. I think it's like 2 or 3 cards. It also like people attack you, they tend to attack him instead. And then when Nami dies later, um, you can just bring him back. I mean, if someone exiled him, that would be the thing that would suck. But he lets you do additional turns, lets you untap tapped things. So like you can have creatures or artifacts that tap or do something, or like if you have artifacts that tap from mana, you can untap them and retap them. So like if I had Mana Crypt and Mana Vault and Basilisk, all those really strong mana rocks, I could stick those in there and just use them to tap and untap them. If I wanted to tap someone's creatures at their turn, I can tap and untap them. If I want to politic and have like people attack each other, I can tap someone's stuff for someone else. I mean, there's so many things that's just Teferi can do with just the tap ability, you know? Alright. Oh, so the next collector pack. Very, very strong package here. Wow, this is the strongest package I've seen yet. Jeez. Okay. I'm gonna get an Orc Army token. A better looking food token. Rally at Harnburg. Revive the Shire. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Create a food token. Interesting. Isolation at Orthanc. Put target creature into its owner's library second from the top. They took me and set me on a pinnacle of Orthanec. I stood alone on an island in the clouds. I had no chance of escape, and my days were bitter and cold. Gandalf. I could see. This would probably be a Saruman card, but I could see Gandalf having this too. But I'd probably put this in the Saruman deck. Hobbit Sting. X is the number of creatures you control plus the number of foods you control. Foil Hobbit Sting. Imror of the Reutermark. I like this one a little bit better. Cool art. Foil. Not full art, sadly, but whenever attacks, if you control a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Haste. I like it. But northward, the white crest of Ymir led the great front of the Rohirrim, which had begun, gathered, and marshaled. It's good, not the best. I mean, a 1/1 white human soldier creature token that's not attacking. Um, It's alright. It's not attacking, it's not a knight. I really like the artwork, though. It's a really nice card. Murdoch Brady Book. The Shire Plains map art. Goldberry River Daughter foil. 1 and a blue. Tap, move a counter of each kind not on Goldberry River Daughter from another target permanent you control to Goldberry. Pay a blue, move 1 or more counters from Gari onto another target permanent you control. If you do, draw a card. Okay. Delightful Halfling extended art. Treebeard Gracious Host. 4 mana, 0/5. Extended art. Trample Ward 2. Enters the battlefield, create 2 food tokens. Whenever you gain life, put that many 1/1 counters on target halfling or tree folk. That's the thing, is like they want you to play the halflings with the tree folk. I guess you could do it, like say that they're part of the Shire at the first of the story or something, but I don't know. This is a different Treebeard that we had though, so it's better, I think. Grimly Counter of the Kills, ring art. Boromir, Warden of the Tower, ring art. Pippin's Bravery, full art. Pippin's Bravery foil, full art. Buckleberry Fairy. Extended art foil. Pretty nice looking. Add a blue, return Buckleberry Fairy to its owner's hand. I don't know exactly why you would do that though. Hmm. Berry Fairy. that's the end of that one, and we'll be back here in a little bit to do the next one.